In this presentation, we will set up the process and prepare for the entering of the second month of information from the bank statement into QuickBooks. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. We're now going to say that we are in the second month, and we're going to say that we have the second month bank statement. We may get the two bank statements all at one time and then need to just sort them out and enter those bank statements. We might have multiple bank statements for a year that we need to enter. So we just need to know how are we going to sort that information. And this is just one format that we can do so. So I'm going to go into our folder for the second month of information. And just remember what we did prior to this. We've got our folder here for our client folder, or our folder if this is our folder for the case. We've got the documents, we've got the backup file, and the QuickBooks file. These are the actual QuickBooks files. We are in the documents right now. We're going to look for the bank statement. If we go into the documents, we're in 2019, so I'm going to go into 2019. And then we just did January. So if I look at January's, this is the format we had. We had the client provided docs, we had the reports, and then we've got the open items. We want a similar structure for the next month here. So now we're going to go back to 2019. If I go into February, we're going to say I'm going to add a folder here for client provided documents, and that's where we're going to get the bank statement. I'm going to put the bank statement and any other information from the client there. And then I'm going to have another folder. I'm going to right click and make another folder. You can also do that by selecting the folder up top, depending on your browser. I'm going to right click and rename the folder again, and it's going to be reports that we'll have here. So if we have any month-end reports, we'll put those into that information. And then in the client provided documents, I'm going to say here's our bank statement for February. So there's the second bank statement that we have. I'm going to open that now. I'm going to actually make a copy of this so that we can mark it up as we enter data. So I'm going to say this is the client copy. I'm going to right click and copy it, and then right click and paste, and then I'm going to rename it, and we're going to say this is the bank statement February that we're going to use to enter data. So that's what we're going to use. So we're going to mark it up to enter the data into the system. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to open it up with Adobe Reader. Right click, I'm going to open it with Adobe Reader, unless that's your default program. Open it here. And so that's the form that we're now going to be using. So it looks something like this. It's going to be very similar to the prior form. We're going to go back, and then the next thing we want to do is get our open items set up. So I'm going to go back to our desktop, and we're going to copy the same kind of open items we had for January. So what I want to do is go back to 2019 again and go into the January file. And this open items, I just want that same thing for February now. So I'm actually just going to open it up, and then we'll save it as a February file. So here's the document, and so it's open items. I'm just going to go to the File tab up top and Save As. So this will change the location. We're going to browse to where we want to put it. It's currently going into this worksheet into January. I'm going to go back to 2019. We want to go into February. And we're going to change the reports open items just for, instead of January 2019, February. And we're going to say save. And there we have that. Now, some of the stuff is probably going to be similar because some of this information we'll probably see some of these people again, some of these vendors, possibly. But I'm going to delete it and go from here. And if I see some of the duplicate information, we'll have to make a call and see do we want to include it in February or not. Note that as we go forward here, we're going to enter 2 months of data before we've really asked about January. If we are in a situation where we can ask about January, then that will answer probably a lot of questions we will have for February. If, on the other hand, we're just trying to enter a few months at a time and just get through a few months and put together as many questions as we can, then we're just going to keep pushing forward on this and pile up the questions here and ask them at one time and hopefully get an answer that will answer all those questions at one time rather than going back and forth. So our goal here is really just to keep pushing forward and entering data into the system and putting it in such a way that we can easily have a system of going back and making changes to those areas where we do have questions without having to stop completely in order to get those questions solved before moving forward. So we now have our open items here. We've got our bank statement that will be open, and remember, this is going to be the same strategy that we're just going to take this bank statement information, enter it directly into the check register. We're going to start with the deposits, and we're just going to take those deposits, enter them directly into the check register as we did in the prior month. Hopefully it'll be a little bit smoother this month because we've already seen 1 month of information. Then we'll do the same for checks. Same concept. It should be lighter. It should be a smoother process given the fact that we have seen 1 month of information already. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.